What's up everyone, Pags here at MEI Studio. This week we're looking at another ribbon mic, but this time from Shure. It's all about the classic Shure 315, this time on the Mic Locker. We've looked at a bunch of ribbon mics on this channel over the last couple years, from the huge dual ribbon AEA R88 that sits over every drum session to the modern classic Royer 121 that captures almost every electric guitar that we record here. It's safe to say that ribbons are an integral part of our arsenal here in the studio. Since most ribbon mics require a lot of really clean gain and a high impedance, the studio recently picked up a new 8-channel preamp that's capable of providing up to a 1.5 mega ohm impedance and a nice 69 dB of clean gain. While it doesn't quite get up to the amount of gain that the AEA RPQ or TRP pre's do, it does provide that all-important high impedance, and now we have 8 channels of these. These pre's are very neutral and there's no real color to speak of, so after this video we're going to start using these pre's for reference recordings at points. Just wanted to let you know. Long thought to be Shure's first ribbon mics by Shure historians, the Model 300 and 315 were released in the early 1950s. But it was actually in 1939 that Shure released their Rocket Model 50, Model 5, Model 500, and Model 508 Stratoliners. These mics were not billed as ribbons, but as moving conductor dynamic microphones. Why this was done is anyone's guess. Perhaps rather than have to compete on a marketing level with the likes of RCA, Shure decided to play the marketing game and ride the trend of what we consider more traditional moving coil dynamics. When the US got involved in World War II, production of these microphones ceased to focus on products relevant to the war effort. It wouldn't be until 1952 that Shure would reintroduce the ribbon microphone to their catalog with the Model 300 and 315. There were variations of these mics which had switches or were clad in gold. The Model 300 featured a built-in shock mount and switchable extended frequency range and was intended for capturing instruments. The 315, which is what we have here, was a more sleek version intended to be used for vocal use. There was no voicing switches, just an impedance switch to change the mic's output impedance from a low 25 to 50 ohms to medium 150 to 250 ohms to high at 35 kiloohms. A few years later, Shure would introduce the Model 330, which featured a more cardioid pattern, which for a ribbon mic is kind of impressive. This became a broadcast mainstay for years on both radio and TV. Production of these mics would continue, surprisingly, all the way up until the 1980s. It wouldn't be for another 25 years later that Shure would once again bring ribbon mics back to the catalog with the KSM 313. While these mics are no longer made, there seems to be no shortage of these to be found on the used market. The mic's frequency response is nothing short of a hot mess, from 50 Hz all the way up to 12K. And it is bidirectional and utilizes a 3-pin MC3M connector, which is getting harder and harder to find. Since the mic is tailored for vocal use, we're expecting to hear a strong mid-range with the lows and ultra-highs kind of rolled off. Let's take the mic into the studio and check it out on a bunch of different instruments and see if these mics still hold up after more than 70 years. Let's get to it. This is the Shure 315 ribbon microphone, 0 degrees on axis. This is the Shure 315 ribbon microphone, 90 degrees off axis. This is the Shure 315, 180 degrees off axis. Back to 90 degrees. And back to 0 degrees on axis. This is the Shure 315, 6 inches away from my mouth. And this is what it sounds like when you get really close to the Shure 315. Since this is a ribbon microphone, I'm going to kind of hold the microphone a little bit further away for the plosive test. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Simple Simon said something stupid. On the back of the microphone here, we have a little door that opens up when you unscrew it, and there's a switch that you can change the impedance from low to medium to high. The microphone also has a hinge right here where it can be moved 90 degrees this way and straight up and down this way. The mic is pretty much exactly what I had expected. It has what I can only describe as a classic or vintage sound to it. The bottom end is there, but it's not in your face like the Royer 121 is. I mean, that thing has bottom end for days. This is a soft sound that, in the right situation, could be that perfect tone to set a mood for a piece. Is this mic for everyone? No, of course not. Is this something someone might want to use in a more modern setting for vocals, either sung or spoken word? I'm not really there either, honestly, unless you really like the look of it and can do a lot in post. I do see this mic as something I can go to get an old, smooth sound that I've really not heard from any other mic, to be honest. What this mic did on the piano isn't something that I've experienced with any of our other mics. To me, this sounds like an old 1940s or 50s jazz record. It's detailed, but not really hyped anywhere. It's a subtle musical timbre that isn't trying to impress you. I know these are really weird words, but it honestly is hard to describe what I think of this mic. What did you think of the mic? Do you have better words to describe the sound of the mic than I? Because honestly, I'm truly at a loss for words on this one. Hit me up in the comments below. As always, if you've gotten anything from today's video, please hit those like and subscribe buttons. It'll really help us out. If you have a suggestion for a video or questions about this video, hit me up in the comments section below or send us a message through the website. I'd love to hear from you. Well, that's going to do it for this time. This is Pags, signing off.